Bizarre Brain Comics. Oh, hello, my comic book fiends. Oh. Welcome to Bizarre Brain Comics. I'm Gary, your host. And this is where I like to take a look at some older comics, talk a little bit about the characters and creators, and examine the stories and the art. This time, in keeping with our spooky Spooktober, Halloween month leading up to Halloween. What could be more spooky than ghosty stuff? So we're going to take a look at Ghostlore. Now this is Ghostlore Volume 1. It's a graphic novel, or actually graphic album, from Boom Studios. It's collecting, I think it was the first 3 issues of the continuing story, of the continuing title. I don't know if it was intended to be a limited series or what, and I don't know if it's still in production. This is, like I said, Volume 1, and it's from 2023. So, and I had never heard of it or seen anything of it. This happens to be a library copy. I saw that and go, ooh. So I got it from the library. Well, remember, if you read comics, you do not have to necessarily buy them yourself. Because quite a few comics, graphic novels, etc., are available to be read from your local library, depending on your library and stuff. Okay, Ghostlore. It was written by Cullen Bunn, and I don't know a whole lot about him. I know I've read some of his stuff before, someplace else, something else that he's written, and I enjoyed it. I don't remember what it was, and but I recognize his name. I gather in recent years he's been a relatively hot writer, and with art by Leomacs and others. That's Leomacs. Apparently, the ghost parts of the stories were each done by different artists, but the main series artist is Leomacs, and I don't know who Leomacs is. This cover painting was done by Reiko Murakami. It's very nicely done, and it depicts, here are 2 main characters with some spooks around them, Lucas and Harmony, his daughter Harmony. Lucas is the girl's father, and he's a reverend. Of course, she's like, and Harmony is about I think a 16-year-old girl, and the images of the characters on the inside have obviously been taken from certain actors. Now, I'm not sure who Harmony is modeled on. I know I've seen her here on the cover. She reminds me of Emma Watson, but I don't see that so much on the inside. So whether she was based on Emma Watson or someone else that just kind of reminds me of her, I don't know. But the Lucas, the father, he is obviously based on Chris Pine. You know, the Captain Kirk from the reboot Star Trek movies. Okay, and it is a reverend and his estranged teenage daughter. That's Lucas and Harmony are either cursed or blessed, depending on your point of view, by the ability to see and interact with ghosts who tell them their stories. Hence the title Ghostlore, which sometimes spills over into bizarre real-world violence and some others. And there's a lot of interpersonal characterization and drama. Talking about a 16-year-old girl. Drama is what it's all about, right? And I'm only going to really look at the first story. You can see. And there's the. That's interesting. But this is. Let's see here. Here is Lucas, the father. He's giving preaching a sermon in his. It's a small country town. Apparently, it's just a small church. And here they're talking about afterward. Here's the whole family. Daughter Harmony, the wife and the brother. I've forgotten their names, but it doesn't matter. And just a few people. But you see the growth, this growth prickling up, and that's just representative of stuff. And you can see it in the background here. It's not really there. It's representative of something. And they're talking about their how few people are coming to the services anymore, and discussing faith and stuff. And while Harmony had slipped out the back, and was just being a moody teenage girl, and sneaks a cigarette. And things are building up, and time to drive home, and they're going to have Harmony, who failed her driving test, needs driving practice, so she's going to drive the car home. Here you can really, really, really see that he is based on Chris Pine. Yeah. So Harmony is driving, but in the process, they wind up getting into an argument because she wants to leave as soon as possible. She's going away to college in 2 years, and they say, why can't she go to the closer one, all this other, typical teenage stuff. And the brother is just sitting there all dejected and depressed, and he seems that way the whole time. And even though the others are fighting, suddenly, Harmony sees, what's this? In the middle of the road, it looks like a little boy, and she swerves and screeches off the road and crashes into a tree. Sploosh! Oh, now we see. Oh, and of course the red coloring. Oh, it's very foreshadowing here, and we see Harmony and her dad in the front seat, injured, and then you just see shattered glass things in there. Then you look in the back, and finally, Chris, the boy Chris, he says, "Dad, Harmony, what?" And he says, "I need you to listen." Go, what's going on? And they just look odd sitting here in the back seat like this. And they just look so odd. And while the Harmony and her dad are trying to recover, but then we suddenly see, what's this? And this is an indication of that creeping stuff that we saw in the backgrounds earlier. Here it is. It's creeping out, and you see all these figures. They're ghostly figures, and we're Dad. We're not alone. Then they realize Chris is telling them something. So their attention is divided between Chris talking, said, "You've got to help. Listen to me," while they're saying, "Help us." And Chris tells the story of just a few months ago. There was a girl who went to their church and was went to school there, and he and a couple friends had gone off, were teasing and harassing this little girl. Said she was a witch because they thought she was odd, and they threw a rock at her and hit her, and then suddenly, oh, what the heck? She became some kind of weird monster, blah blah blah. Don't know what it is. He took off, and his two friends were killed. And that affected him. But officially the boys were missing. I see the signs and stuff around. But he never told anybody, and that's why he's been so down and depressed and quiet lately. And they said, and that's the story I needed to tell you. And then this is when you begin to realize the boy and the mother in the back seat are dead. What was talking to them and what they saw there were the ghosts of them. Oh my gosh. And then said, "You're not listening." And his ghost has a temper tantrum and rips the roof right off the car. Oh my gosh. And there is. And then she gets to say, "Your story's told. It's weighing you down, all right. It's mine now." And that's when the ghost is satisfied and is gone. But then they didn't hear anything from their mother, and there are all these other ghosts. They're out there saying, "Listen to me. I can't remain. Help me. I need to tell you. Please listen, 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 listen." All this stuff, and they're out there. They don't know what to do, and they're like cramming around them and around them, and she's trying to break free. And there she is, her mother's ghost, walking away. He says, "Don't go, don't go. I'm trying to reach my mother." You're her mother. And then says, "Those people, who are they?" And he goes, "Harmony." And says, "I'm all right, Dad. Don't worry, I'm here. You're not alone." And then all of these ghosties around him. Oh, and that is just the beginning. And they go on. They have conflicts between the, blame game. Even though they're not calling it, they're not actually blaming each other. They're both depressed, obviously. And then spooks. The spooks come to Lucas, and see, this is when I said different artists for the ghosty stories, and it's got several of them, but things erupt. Weird things have happened in the stories, and the ghosts have weird stuff. And Lucas's method is to basically, they kind of attack him, and he fights back and stuff. And this hasn't happened with her, but and I have several of them, different ones. And each of the stories have had their ghosty stuff. Stories have been involving other supernatural things, and they're out. Here they are out at the crash site. This is some days, months on, and you can really see the Chris Pine in that picture. That's probably the shot that convinced me that was Chris Pine. And they're trying to see the ghost of their dead mother. Smoking. They even share a cigarette there, and more stories. And they get they're all supernaturally based stories, and that the ghosts are telling them. Besides just, it's all weird stuff. And at the end of this one, Harmony has decided to leave. She had written her father a note. The whole thing is basically her. That whole segment is basically her writing the note, telling her father that she's leaving and whatnot. And I wonder if you found Mom, her ghost, yada yada yada. Then in the end, she decides to go back, get the note, crumple it up, and throws it all on the ground. And here, something spooky is the note burst into flame on its own when she leaves, and it's to be continued. I forgot to mention someone has seen them from a distance. It looks like this homeless man, and he says, "I think they're about ready." And he goes to see the Rev, and I think it's in this one. Is it in this one? Yeah, he goes and talks to the Reverend, and because he's just like a homeless guy, but he is aware of what's going on. He gradually lets on that that's what it is, and that he is there listening to the ghosts. And he perceives when the battle. He's fighting off that ghost, and then when it's all over, there's some damage, but the ghost is all gone, no slime or nothing like that, and he knows about it. So it's leading into more of what I don't know, and I would be very interested in reading more volumes of this to see where this is going. I think it's well written. I mean, and art is fantastic, but that's what I'm saying. It's well written. That's a problem I've been seeing, especially with the horror anthology stuff lately, that it's not very well written. But this is real well written, and I really encourage you to, if you're into this stuff, to check it out if you haven't already. Have you? Let me know. Have you read Ghostlore? What did you think of it? Thank you for joining me. Please like, share, subscribe, and do leave your comments down below. And remember, comics are art.